even to just address that, right, is that the reality is when did you find out it was too late? Right, it was too late. And, you don't have time to get, by the time we realized there was 10 guys on the field, you don't have time to get somebody from, the sideline when the ball's on the 1 yard line in the front, on the far hash, to be able to, you have to touch somebody on offense to get them to stop the play. And so by the time we realized that, to run somebody out there, you would have got a penalty, but they would have declined it and still scored a touchdown. And so as we talked as a staff yesterday, obviously we can't let that happen. We know that. We can't let 10 guys go on the field and not see it. But two, we have to be able to, we came up with a call, a signal to be able to say, hey, you have to jump off sides and touch somebody on the offense so you can stop the play, right? And so it was a learning opportunity for myself and everybody involved with our program. So
against Ohio State's defensive line was huge, and your offensive line pretty much met that. Your running backs ran for 5.3 per carry. Just could you give an assessment of how you, when you watched the film, how they looked and where you think that offensive line is now?
I mean, if you would have told me going into that game, we would have had 0 3-and-outs, 0 sacks, 0 turnovers, 0 drops, 0 penalties, run for 176 yards, and not win, I would have said, no way. But when you have 3 series that end on their side of the field and we get 0 points out of it, that's the reality of it. And so, again, we have to finish those drives with points. And that's a point of emphasis, obviously, that we have to make this week.
Do the substitutions, you don't signal on the plays. As you audit what happened in the final 4 minutes, like where were the breakdowns in terms of the substitutions, but also like there was a play where you had to burn a timeout where the defense was struggling to get a signal from the sideline. What did you find out about where those systems didn't work?
We called that timeout because we wanted to see what formation they were in, and then we wanted to call a timeout just to try to match up to it. And there's a whole bunch of systems in place to make sure that doesn't happen. But ultimately, Peter, it falls on me. And that's the reality. I'm not going to get up here and say, this person should have done that person. Ultimately, I have to do a better job as a head coach to make sure those systems you just talked about we have in place are executed, right? We as a coaching staff should be held to the exact same standards we tell our players to, right? And we tell our players often, you hear me say, fight the drift, right? You can't get caught watching the game. Everybody has a job to do on this play. Coaches got to win the interval too, and we all have to own that and make sure that never happens.